see if we can't do that 10-minute setup thing. The instructions read, please fab upper and lower wax try-in, enclosed upper and lower models with wax rim, bite registration. Teeth size 35E. Patient is skeletally class 3, trying to get her at least end to end or whatever is possible. So the first thing we do is we paint our model so the wax will separate. This is a mixture of 1 jigger of hand soap to about a quart of water. Hand soap. Alright, now the first thing I like to do is take a sheet of wax, warm it a bit, just the edge. Fold it once, about the height of the lower teeth, and cut it. And while it's still soft, I lay it in the lingual of the lower model, and I push it until it crosses the crest of the ridge. So basically I'm extending my lower ridge up. It's not very straight. Put my template on it. Put it at the retromotor pads. And make it parallel to the upper as best we can. Make it perpendicular to the midline suture. Also, this is a tough one because the retromotor pad, the Hammer notches aren't there, but normally I would rest this on the Hammer notches to make it parallel as well. And if you notice, when I go back to the original bite rim, it's pretty much where he had it. He has altered our original bite rim by adding labial wax because of the skeletal class 3, and he wants to try and make it normal. So once you have that, you can rip off all of this soft base plate wax, because base plate wax is basically too soft, and its job is to give us the VDO. And once we have our VDO, it's done its job. So I usually remove all of it. This only happens when you're filming. Alright, take some more wax, soften it up, fold it up. I also like to define my midline using the papilla to some degree, but mostly the midline suture. The doctor did not mark it on his bite rim. can use this blade and see that it follows that midline suture real well. The papilla and the muscle attachment do not line up with it. So take it. One of the reasons that I like to use the saw instead of a line is because while setting up teeth, things can move. I can set my knife right in that groove and check that I haven't moved the midline while placing these teeth in. Once I get those about where I want them, I kind of want to seal them down, make sure they don't move. And then I will put them under a fan and multitask onto something else. Okay, now that I've done that, I like to put my template back on. You can see the centrals are where they're supposed to be, that one cuspid is, and one cuspid is off the plane. So it's easier to see when you put the plane back on. Now the plane adds a millimeter of height, so you don't want to force your articulator closed at this juncture. You're just using it to help set up the teeth. These are functional teeth. So I soften up the wax. Stick a tooth in. Get it parallel to the plane and give it the correct curve of Wilson. Add another one. Again, perpendicular to the plane. Alright, I'm running out of room. So I like to go with one bicuspid and two molars rather than two bicuspids and one molar, because molars offer a better occlusal surface to chew with. And second thought, I got room. And that cost me a couple of seconds. I use 3 templates when I'm setting up. The occlusal one there. And then I have this second one that I like to use because these are engineered teeth, and the engineering tells us all these should line up. So I push them that away, make sure I didn't push them away from this away. And then I can go back with this and just add a little bit curve of speed. Check the curve of speed. Check this again. Teeth just don't move uniformly. I'm looking down my wax matrix on the lower to see that the lingual cusps are going to hit right above or right into the top of that wax, and they do. So I seal this side down. And go to the other side. Sometimes when I'm feeling lucky, I will go ahead and put them all the teeth on there. Just kissing the lingual cusps, or kissing that make sure they're perpendicular to this occlusal plane. So that's one of the reasons I sometimes just like to melt this one to it. And I have this other one. I want to get all of these touching and lined up as well. And like I said, base plate wax is just too soft and too sticky to maneuver the teeth around in, like this wax I have from Memphis Dental, which is base plate type 2, and what all that means I have no idea. Just been ordering it for years. That's also what's in my melting pot, because when I have some left over I toss it. Don't put bite rim wax in there because it's too soft and sticky. So, oops, check that again, it's okay. Check that again. It's okay. Rip this off. I'll double check, see if it's over the ridge. It is. Take this off. Get my lower bite rim. Remove the soft, nasty base bite rim material, bite rim wax. And I'm using this is a Corning's bite rim wax. Memphis Dental also carries it, but well, carries a bite rim wax that they make. But I found it's, even though they're in town, I have to go pick it up. So I usually buy this from Nowak. Alright, then you put some soft wax up there for your lower. Get all that other ugly wax out of the way. I tried the heatless, no flame thing, and to me, I didn't like having to wait for my spatula to get hot, or my waxing iron to get hot. I like it over a flame, getting hot and ready to go. Alright, usually I set these two centrals one time. And I look for the diamond. See the little diamond between black diamond and the midlines line up and everything? The doctor thought I'd have to go end to end with this. I really don't think I needed to, so I didn't. If I were to go end to end, I would have ordered a slightly larger tooth, lower anterior tooth, so that intercuspation of the posteriors would fall in line without leaving big space. It looks like I may have needed to order a bigger tooth anyway. Because like patients, I don't like spaces in between the teeth, except diastemas. I have a diastema, so obviously diastemas are sexy. But not everybody can be sexy, so I don't put diastemas in people just for that reason. Or diastemas, whichever pronunciation you prefer. Like the name of my lab, Cynosure or Cynosure. Dictionary offers two pronunciations. I like Cynosure because then I can turn on my southern accent and say, we're a sign of sure quality. I guess you can tell I don't talk a whole lot when I work, because when I do, it just sounds goofy. Alright, that matches the upper, so it should be on a good plane, and it is. These lower anteriors are giving me more trouble than I would have thought. And some of that is due to working with base plates and bite rims. If I'd have just started with a naked model, I think it would not have happened as such. Put this on. Also use it to make sure that it's lined up this way too, because even though you're setting it up against the upper, it's easy to set it up, think you have occlusion because you have contact, when in reality all you have is contact. Because the same rules setting up the lower apply to the upper. As far as these are engineered teeth, they should be set to a certain standard. Alright. Now when I said 10-minute setup, I usually mean per arch. The camera will tell me how long this is actually taking, because I did not note the time when I started. I hope it's at least under 15 minutes, because YouTube won't let me post anything over 15 minutes unless I pay for it, and I am too cheap to do that. And the nice thing about when you have the upper set up properly, even without the lower end, generally when you do go to set the lower up, they just fall into place. Alright, one of the things I did not check when I did my upper was, even though these are all touching, this is not perpendicular to that, where that one is, and that one is. And that throws my lower off just a hair. So there are a lot of perpendiculars you have to be particular about. And you sit there and wonder, why isn't this one falling into place? And it's because the upper isn't in the right place.